you because at least half of you are here at UCLA. So when you're talking to people and people ask, well, how can they help you? These are some of the things that you can tell them. You can suggest, well, it would be really useful if you would invest in UCLA's research, like my research, and commercialization. You can ask for support of translational research. That can help to generate funding to cross this valley of death area where there isn't good NIH funding. You can ask them if they would contribute to a pool to support at-risk patents. One of the questions, I think, had to do with, would the university support patents? Yes, we do. We spent about over $6 million on patents last year. But we have to get a lot of that returned to us through the companies once they've licensed the technology. So in order to do more at-risk patenting, then it would be useful for us to try and get a pool to help fund at-risk patenting. We have a lot of students who are interested in learning about this. We have internships. So if people would want to contribute to fellowship or internship support, the job market's not good. A lot of students come and really want to get some hands-on experience in commercialization to give them a leg up in finding a job as they leave here. When I was in university, the majority of people who did a Ph.D. were going into academia. That is no longer the case. The majority of people coming out of PhDs now go into industry. So people are trying to differentiate themselves by getting some experience with commercialization. Or you can invest in a UCLA startup company. We have or offer available space for a UCLA startup company. If you have space out in the community, you're not using it all, maybe you can become a mini incubator. Work with us and we'll help you try and do that. Or you can sponsor a student team for a startup. So any of these ways, people could get involved and be active and important to the mission of technology transfer for UCLA. And we'll just end with a picture of a successful UCLA technology. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So at this time, I'd like to invite the speakers up to the stage for a question and answer session. Is that? Oh. Can we turn off the PowerPoint presentation? Thank you. So many of you submitted questions when you registered. I'll start with a few of those and then I'll open it up to the audience. First question, can you guys talk a little about international patents and the importance of them?
Why don't I take that? So international patenting, I would say for, especially for medical technology, you want to patent in Europe, probably China, probably India to some extent, Japan not so much. And then you have to look at the market for your product. If wherever there is a big market, that should determine where you should get a patent. But ground zero for patent litigation in the medical business is Germany. As you know, if you have a medical device or a medical product, it takes a long time to get FDA approval in the US. And the same thing holds for Japan. Europe, it's a lot quicker with the CE mark. And once you're in Europe, if you want to enforce your IP rights in Europe, Germany is a great forum for doing it. They have the court in Düsseldorf. They have several courts where you can enforce your IP rights, but the one in Düsseldorf is very fast. It decides within a year. The market is pretty big. It's about 80 million people. So I would say for medical technology, you should seriously consider Europe and especially Germany.
Why do you say not Japan?
Well, the experience in Japan is that there haven't been many patent lawsuits with any significant damages out of Japan. So essentially, you want to obtain IP in places where you can enforce it at a reasonable cost and you get a nice return on your investment. And the Japanese courts have been very, they have not been great with damages. So it's just experience over time.
Can you guys talk a little about a patent fence and how to protect your patent?
Well, I've heard the term patent fence used to describe a collection of patents in a particular area rather than rely on a single patent.
Yes, that's
I
what
think that's how it's being used. Well, patent fences are great. They're also pretty expensive to set up, especially when you bring in international patents, which are more expensive than patenting in the U.S. generally, and certainly just by adding up the numbers. So certainly relying on a single patent is a riskier strategy because it's easier to attack. For a startup, I think really you're sort of forced to not have a patent fence, to put your eggs in a relatively few number, in one basket really. And so the emphasis should be, I think, for a startup on patent quality, making sure you have good patent counsel who understands your invention and can get you a good quality patent that will withstand most attacks. On the other side of the picture, there are people who invest in patenting primarily, and there are speculators in that area as well, and people that will, rather than putting a lot of money on a few technologies, will invest in a wide variety. So I don't think there's a right or wrong answer there. It just depends on the objective of the investment activity, what you're trying to accomplish.
Okay. Let's open it up to the audience. Go ahead.
Neil had mentioned bobsleigh, Marina Del Rey Hospital. You'd mentioned the invention report and then the provisional patent. What's the difference? What's the advantage or disadvantage?
The invention report is the inventor's disclosure to us, in which they'll describe it, they'll tell us who the inventors are, they'll tell us what they're trying to accomplish with it, how it works. So it's really your brain dump on what it is.
But it's a university mechanism. It's not a public mechanism.
Right.
But what it is it sets the time period for us to apply for the patent. And then the provisional is the first stage of the 1-year patent application.
So I'll just elaborate a little bit on provisional applications. Provisional application is an application that does not need a claim. So they're usually cheaper. The filing fee is, depending on whether you're small or big, $100 or $200. And it's like a scientific or technical journal article. If you are able to do that kind of thing, you can probably do it on your own, quite a bit of it. So it's a relatively inexpensive way, getting your foot in the door and going and exploring what your business options are, like John had said in his presentation.
Thank you. Go ahead, sir.
So we discussed kind of making technologies that are more concrete and ones that are, I guess, less concrete, like software. So when phrasing the language in a patent, what are kind of the pitfalls in maybe like designing a software patent versus, let's say, aneurysm device of some sort?
Well, software is, you can't really patent software. You can patent methods that you implement using a computer. So I think software patenting is difficult because there's no commonly used terminology for a lot of things. So a lot of words that you use in the patent claim will be given unintended meanings by the examiner and others. So it's very much a word game. I think